Rams and Bobby Wagner have parted ways. And this is just after one season. And with Bobby Wagner parting ways, this was something that was really a shock for sure. Bobby Wagner played great. He was the highest graded linebacker by Pro Football Focus. Wes, I hope you're still here because here we go. Hey, girl, you good? My dog always sits next to me on podcasts, y'all. It seems like she might be having a little bit of a bad dream. Hey, you good, girl? You good? No bad dreams, okay? Sorry, y'all. We do what we got to do for the kiddos, right? She always wants to stay in here when I'm doing the show. Like I'll shut my door while she's out there because it seems like she doesn't want to come in. And then like I said, I'll shut the door and she'll paw to come back in. And she's over there having some bad dreams. Inca, hey, you good, girl? You good? You got to stay tapped into the show, okay? Sorry, y'all. We got to make sure the kiddos are good, man. If y'all have got animals, y'all totally understand. That's my child, man. Y'all don't even play with me. That's my baby. That's my kiddo. But yes, like we were mentioning, Bobby Wagner and the Rams have parted ways. And this was a shocker. Like I mentioned, highest graded linebacker by Pro Football Focus. He's been really a top 3 to 5 linebacker his entire career that he's been in the NFL, now a solid decade. Of course, those 9 years with the Seahawks, signing a nice deal with them in the offseason last year in terms of the Rams. But the Rams were about $14 million over the cap. And after they mutually agreed to part ways, I think this saved them about $5 million in salary. But they do have a $7.5 million dead money charge on there. So that is going to hurt them just a tad bit. If he had remained on the roster, it says here on the 5th day of the 2023 league year, his $7.5 million base salary and $2.5 million roster bonus due in 2024 would have become guaranteed. So it sounds like it would have cost them about another $10 million if they wouldn't have parted ways. And I guess since the down year happened, winning 5 games after the major Super Bowl hangover, one of the wildest Super Bowl hangovers really, that we've ever seen. Maybe this is the reason maybe they think it's a time to not necessarily, tear it down to the studs, but it's time to let some of these guys go, I guess. And again, it was surprising to me. 32 years old, joined the Rams after he signed a 5-year, $50 million deal with $20 million in guarantees. And that was on March 31 of 2022. So not even a full year ago yet. Second team All-Pro this year. He had 140 tackles, a career high 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, 5 passes defended, and he started in all 17 games this year. This was the 9th time in Bobby Wagner's career, in the 11 seasons that he's played, that he was named to an All-Pro, 6 times on the first team, 3 times on the second team. And clearly we know that he's a monster, one of the biggest defensive leaders in Seattle Seahawks history. He led them, I think, in all-time tacklers. Yes, he's the all-time leading tackler with 1,383 tackles. We know what Bobby Wagner is, though. Had to give the guy his flowers because he still balled out this year. That was just surprising that the Rams did let go of him. She had a dream that Pete Carmichael was coming back as the Saints OC. That's hilarious, Darby. That was good, man. You heard that, Inca? He told you a little joke, girl. She is passed back out. I hate when she has bad dreams. It worries me a lot. But yes, and Bobby Wagner at 32, like, he's still very viable. He's not going to get paid a boatload of money because we know that the almost at the quarterback. We know that the linebacker market we know the linebacker market for the NFL is not super intense. I want to say when Von Miller signed his, it was what was it? 60 million over 3 years, so like 20 million a year. That was a lot. And I mean, Von Miller is a dog, don't get me wrong, but I feel like he's kind of in the same, realm / age range of Bobby Wagner. So Bobby Wagner will be able to go to quite a few teams out there that need defense and with linebackers. I mean, the Niners would welcome him, the Jets, the Dolphins, like we talked about, the Commanders, a lot of teams we've talked about in this show. Anybody would welcome him in. I know he's not going to ask for a ton of money. I know that was kind of a big time signing by the Rams for sure. But yeah, this was crazy that he got cut. But again, Rams, 5 wins, Super Bowl hangover. They're probably just wanting to move off of guys, have a little bit of restructuring to do. So we'll see where Bobby Wagner goes. Maybe we'll get a little topic later in the show, or later down the line in the show about some Bobby Wagner landing spots. But I don't know if this one is gonna heed too much attention. But it was a shocker nonetheless that Bobby Wagner was cut. Bye. Or they mutually parted ways, him and the Rams mutually